Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something quite fundamental. This human desire we all seem to have for signs, tangible proof, and how that whole idea plays out against faith and trust. Our source material is pretty powerful stuff. We've got Exodus, Matthew, and also a more contemporary reflection tying it together.
Exactly. And our mission here really is to unpack what these texts tell us about why we seek these signs. What does real faith look like if those signs aren't there? And, well, what does it actually mean to trust? We'll be looking at huge events like, the Red Sea crossing, but also putting them right next to some very challenging words from Jesus himself.
Yeah, it's fascinating how often Jesus' interactions turned on this very point, especially when people came asking, demanding, really, a sign. We see it right off the bat with the scribes and Pharisees. They come up and say, plain as day, teacher, we wish to see a sign from you.
Right. Just like that. Give us the proof.
They wanted something undeniable, something right there and then.
And Jesus' response in Matthew, it's incredibly sharp. Almost a rebuke, you could say. He tells them, an evil and unfaithful generation seeks a sign, but no sign will be given it except the sign of Jonah the prophet. Which really says a lot about how he viewed their request, doesn't it?
It does. What's he getting at there? Is it just about them being demanding?
Well, I think it's deeper. It suggests the request wasn't coming from a place of genuine seeking, maybe more like testing him or wanting God to perform on their schedule. He saw it as maybe a lack of faith in what was already revealed. They weren't really open to him, to his message as it was.
Okay, so then he offers them one sign, the sign of Jisbah. For anyone maybe a bit rusty on that story, what exactly was the sign of Jonah?
He spells it out quite clearly. He says, just as Jonah was in the belly of the whale 3 days and 3 nights, so will the Son of Man be in the heart of the earth 3 days and 3 nights.
Okay. So he's pointing directly to his own death and resurrection.
Precisely. That's the ultimate sign he's offering. But it's not a flashy miracle on demand. It's a sign of, profound self-giving, sacrifice, and then new life. It demands a different kind of seeing, doesn't it? A deeper understanding.
And then he kind of pivots, using history to challenge them even more. He brings up the men of Nineveh and also the Queen of the South. Why those two examples? How did they respond differently?
Yeah, this is where the contrast becomes really stark. Think about it. The men of Nineveh, the text says they repented at the preaching of Jonah. Simple as that. They heard the message, they believed it, and they changed. No demands for, lightning bolts or anything.
They just listened to the word itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Queen of the South, she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. She undertook this huge journey, driven by a thirst for wisdom, for understanding, not demanding a performance. They both responded to what was offered, truth, wisdom, without needing a spectacle first. They were open.
That's a key difference, openness versus demand.
And then Jesus delivers the kicker. He says about Jonah's preaching, and there is something greater than Jonah here, and about Solomon's wisdom, and there is something greater than Solomon here.
Wow. So he's saying
he is the ultimate revelation. Right there, in person, the living embodiment of God's truth and wisdom, far surpassing Jonah's message or Solomon's insight. The greatest sign was literally standing in front of them, talking to them. And yet
they were asking for another sign.
Exactly. They couldn't see that something greater that was right there.
Which is amazing, really, especially when you think about their own history. I mean, a history filled with absolutely massive, undeniable signs. And that brings us, perfectly to the Red Sea crossing, probably the most colossal sign you could imagine. Let's dig into that Exodus account. It starts just after the Israelites have left, and Pharaoh and his officials have immediate regrets. They're saying, what have we done? Why, we have released Israel from our service. Just like that, they change their minds.
It happens so fast, doesn't it? And that regret immediately turns into action. Pharaoh gets his best forces together, 600 first-class chariots, plus all the others, warriors packed in. He means business. And the text adds this really interesting detail. The Lord had made Pharaoh so obstinate.
Right. That's always a fascinating part. God hardening Pharaoh's heart.
It suggests, a kind of divine strategy almost. God ensuring the pursuit happens, setting the stage for something big. It kind of shows how sometimes even stubborn resistance can become part of a much larger plan unfolding, God's glory being revealed.
So picture the scene. The Israelites are camping by the sea. Pi-Haroth, they look back and see this massive Egyptian army charging towards it.
Yeah,
They're trapped.
utterly trapped.
Yeah.
Sea in front, army behind.
And their reaction, pure panic. It says they were in great fright and cried out to the Lord. But then almost in the same breath, they turn on Moses, saying things like, far better for us to be the slaves of the Egyptians than to be in the desert.
Such a human reaction, isn't it? Fear just washes away the memory of liberation, the promise of freedom. Doom feels more real in that moment.
Absolutely. And Moses' response in the face of all that terror.
It's incredible. He tells them, fear not, stand your ground, and you will see the victory the Lord will win for you today. He continues, these Egyptians whom you see today, you will never see again. The Lord himself will fight for you. You have only to keep still.
Keep still. That must have been the hardest instruction imaginable right then.
Oh, absolutely. Between an army and the sea, stillness seems impossible. But it's not about doing nothing, is it? It's more like an inner stillness, a trust, a command to stop panicking, stop trying to control it, and watch God work.
A profound call for trust in the face of impossible odds.
Definitely.
And then, of course, comes the miracle itself. God tells Moses, lift up your staff, and with hand outstretched over the sea, split the sea in two, that the children of Israel may pass through it on dry land. Just unbelievable imagery.
The ultimate visual sign. And the text is very clear about why this is happening. The Lord says he'll make the Egyptians obstinate again, so they follow the Israelites into the parted sea. Why? So that the Lord would receive glory through Pharaoh and all his army, his chariots and charioteers.
So everyone would know who was really in charge.
Exactly.
What?
The Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord. That's the stated purpose. And the result? Complete victory. The Lord is gloriously triumphant, casting horse and chariots into the sea. The waters come crashing back. The floodwaters covered them. They sank into the depths like a stone. It couldn't be more decisive.
Or more visible.
It really is the most striking contrast. You have this nation literally born from this earth-shattering, undeniable miracle. And yet, fast forward generations later, and their descendants are standing before Jesus asking for another sign.
Mm-hmm. It really highlights something about us, doesn't it? Even the biggest, most spectacular sign doesn't seem to guarantee lasting trust or prevent future demands for proof.
And like you said, the greatest sign, Jesus himself was right there, and they missed it. Precisely. Which loops us back nicely to that idea from Psalm 145, verse 5. I will meditate on your wondrous works. And the contemporary reflection we looked at puts it so well. True faith does not require proof. Why? Because Jesus himself is the greatest sign.
The sign of God's love and mercy, right there in person.
Right. So if Jesus is the ultimate sign and history is full of these wondrous works like the Red Sea, why is it still so hard? Why do so many, as the reflection asks, still fail to recognize him, even when the signs, maybe quieter ones, are all around us?
Yeah, it's puzzling. It reminds me of that Alleluia verse, if today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Is that the key? That it's less about seeing a spectacular sign and more about the posture of our hearts, about truly listening and being open.
I really think that's central to it. It's about perception, not just spectacle. And that prayer we saw in the first source really hits this home. Forgive me for the times I've demanded signs instead of trusting in your word.
Asking for strength and faith instead.
Exactly. Strengthen my faith and help me respond with a heart ready to change. That's the shift, isn't it? Moving away from demanding external proof like the Pharisees did, towards cultivating an internal readiness, a trust in his word, a heart that's actually prepared to change based on what's already been given.
So wrapping this up for today, where does this leave us? We've definitely seen this tension, this push and pull between that very human, understandable desire for concrete, immediate signs and this call towards a deeper kind of trust.
Yeah, a trust that maybe doesn't always need the big, flashy miracle. It really pushes you to think about that question from the source material. How can I live today with greater trust in Jesus, even when I don't see immediate signs or answers?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
It is. It encourages you to look differently.
Yeah.
To actively look for the wondrous works, maybe the smaller ones, the wisdom that's already present in your life, instead of just, waiting around for the Red Sea to part again or demanding proof on your own terms.
So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. What greater truth like the greater than Jonah, greater than Solomon truth Jesus spoke of might you be missing? What might be right in front of you in the everyday that you're overlooking because you're still waiting for a different kind of sign? Something to really ponder.